Hey guys, what is up? It is StopMatt1998 here, and I am back with a brand new video. This is part 29 of my F1 2014 career mode series, and this is a double header today with both Germany and Hungary. And don't worry, I didn't retire in either Grand Prix. Freddie didn't retire in either Grand Prix. It's just I decided to do a double header just to mix things up a little bit, just to do something different and see how it goes. It won't be like this normally, but anyway. This weekend, obviously, we're looking to gain some points on Lewis Hamilton. We're only just over a race victory behind him now. But before we can see what happens in the race, let's get into the qualifying report. At an overcast Hockenheim, qualifying began. Q1 was short of surprises, but Jules Bianchi impressively qualified in 17th place. Both Lotuses were also eliminated. The fight for the top 10 shootout was really on as we entered Q2. It was a good day for Force India's Sergio Perez as he ended Q2 in 8th place. However, Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen weren't so lucky as both had to leave qualifying early. In Q3, there were 3 German drivers battling out for pole position. Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel could only manage 9th after a lockup going down to the hairpin. Directly ahead of him was Force India's Nico Hülkenberg. The Mercedes of Nico Rosberg lined up on the front row, but only in 2nd place, as he was 3 tenths shy of Lewis Hamilton's pole time. Freddie Gray and Fernando Alonso tried their best, but they just couldn't match the pace of the Mercedes. The second consecutive race, Felipe Massa enjoyed another great qualifying session, edging his Williams car to 5th on the grid.
I could really attack and get the laps in, and so it's okay. Of course, not quick enough, but that's the way it is. And still 2nd place. Everything is possible for tomorrow.
So will it be another Merc dominance, or will the Ferraris be able to do something about that? Let's go now for the German Grand Prix. So here we go then, guys, for the German Grand Prix today at the Hockenheim circuit here in Germany. And obviously Freddie qualifying in 3rd place. The Mercedes was simply just too fast for him in qualifying today. And the message at the end of that montage, I know it hasn't really been a Merc domination in the career mode quite recently, but in that qualifying session it was really a domination. So will Mercedes be able to repeat that today in the race? I think Freddie and Alonso will really be challenging them today. And as for the strategy, the tyre wear is not usually too bad around Hockenheim, but towards the end of the stint, it can get quite bad. And as you can see there, our first pit stop of the day, we'll be getting the prime stints out of the way first, just so we can be on the faster tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix and hopefully launch a challenge to both Mercedes cars. But anyway, let's go out on track now for the German Grand Prix. So it is that man Lewis Hamilton who's starting directly ahead of us here in Germany for the German Grand Prix. As the lights are illuminating above the drivers now. 5 lights and they are out and away we go. We're on for an absolute age there as we've seemed to have gotten a really good start. Rosberg's gone off to a slow start. So has Hamilton, to be fair. Both Ferraris getting awesome launched off the line as per usual. Freddie shifting down for 3rd gear for some reason. I don't really know why he did that. He probably could have overtaken Rosberg around the outside as he was going quite slowly on the inside. We're going to go around the outside of Nico Rosberg here. And I think we've actually got the move. We're leaving Rosberg quite a bit of space, you can see there. Already something actually on our tyre though. I've installed the tyre wear mod for this race. And it will be in this career mode series from now on until the end of the season. You can see Hamilton's already pulled up a 1.3 second lead. We are on the same tyres as Lewis Hamilton, so it shouldn't be too difficult to catch him up. So he is beginning to escape at the moment, and hopefully the tyres last the end of the stint. We did do quite a few laps on them in qualifying because Freddie was absolutely desperate to get that pole position, but unfortunately he couldn't in the end. As you can see in the cinematic camera now, we are beginning to form a train action. As I said, the tyres don't feel too great because Freddie did quite a few laps on them in qualifying, and that's really what's costing him at the moment, but he does appear to be catching up on Lewis Hamilton. It's just this train behind him of what I believe is Rosberg and indeed Kevin Magnussen, who's doing quite well so far. As you can see, Freddie has set the fast lap here, 1 minute 17.7, and we're actually right behind Lewis Hamilton now. We might actually go down the inside of Lewis Hamilton here. Almost went for it that time, and Hamilton almost hit our front tyre there, but Hamilton actually doing very well to avoid contact, and Freddie did well as to sort of avoid any contact also, as we've got the DRS, and we've opened up the DRS up in 7th. We're going to go round the outside of Hamilton here. The slipstream in Hockenheim is quite strong, so we're probably going to see quite a lot of overtaking on this back straight today. So that was a beautiful move there on Lewis Hamilton. Just a quick replay here. The DRS really did help us there overtake the Mercedes driver of Lewis Hamilton, obviously the current championship leader. We are already just over a race victory behind him now.
Brilliant move there, Freddie. Now let's try and keep the Mercedes behind.
So as I was saying there, we are only just over a race victory behind Lewis Hamilton in the World Championship at the moment, so it is looking quite good and we are catching up at quite a rate. These last few races have been extremely successful. Ever since Monaco, let's say, where Freddie and Hamilton had that incident, Freddie's really picked himself up and he has really gained quite a few points on Lewis Hamilton. As you can see, Fernando Alonso there setting the pace, so 1 minute 17.5. As you can see, our front left tyre there absolutely dead. I've got so many marbles on it by the looks of it. Picked up a lot of marbles, obviously having to go offline here because Hamilton's actually going to try and overtake us round the outside. Lewis Hamilton's going to do it. No, he's not, but we do run wide, and Hamilton might actually undercut us there, and indeed he does. Lewis Hamilton has overtaken us here, so I think this first stint will really just be non-stop battling, especially with that long straight into the overpowered slipstream. The slipstream is quite overpowered on this game. We might go up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, but no, Freddie decides there's no point in risking that. But now on to lap 7, we have some team radio.
Okay, we need you to box this lap for a set of prime tyres. We believe that Hamilton is also pitting.
So yeah, I think that's a very sensible decision there from our engineer. And speaking of Hamilton, we have just gone up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. They're into the lead once again. Will Lewis Hamilton get the DRS or will we get the DRS? I think we might do actually. Oh my goodness there. That was a huge bit of well, not a huge bit of contact, but really close to being something quite major there. Just look at this on the replay in a second. But look, Rosberg's actually running as well. Almost 3 abreast there with the 2 Mercedes cars. Oh my goodness me. We've actually locked up going down to the hairpin. That is why we need to pit. Now Hamilton and Rosberg are through. In fact, Rosberg isn't through just yet. You can see there Fernando Alonso darting in our mirrors there, and we definitely need to pit in now. These tyres have gone off the cliff incredibly quickly, actually. Quite surprising, let's say. But yeah, as our engineer just said there, Hamilton's doing the same strategy as us. We got the inside of Rosberg yet again. Constant battling here with the 2 Mercedes cars. Really good to see. It's been a while since we've had like a race just full of battling, and this race might actually change that. As you can see on the replay here, a bit of a scary moment earlier with Lewis Hamilton. Very hairy moment. We almost made contact with the championship lead, and if that resulted in us spinning out, I don't think Freddie would have been happy whatsoever. But as you see now, coming into the pits, indeed Hamilton is pitting in, as our engineer just said earlier. And our tyres just were really bad during the stint. I have no idea why. I think it's mainly because we did 3 laps on them during qualifying. But now onto the prime tyres. We're going to get these slower tyres out of the way first. And I believe Lewis Hamilton is going to be on the option tyres. He'll be a lot quicker in this stint. But we can't really... We've got to ensure that Hamilton doesn't pull away by a huge amount, because that's the problem with the Mercedes cars. On the option tyres, they are just super fast. And the option tyres are a good 1 second behind, or a good 1 second slower than the option tyres, sorry. And as you can see now, corner cutting once again. Freddie getting quite used to that, as Rosberg and Alonso did just pit. And we're actually going to go up inside of Lewis Hamilton here. We've actually made a bit of contact there. Pushed Lewis Hamilton wide. I think Freddie's going to wait up for Lewis Hamilton. Very good move there from Freddie. Great sportsmanship-like behaviour right there. Letting Lewis Hamilton through after a bit of unfair contact, let's say. And yeah, we have the DRS on him now. We might actually overtake Lewis Hamilton anyway. As you can see here, only 3 tenths behind him. Surprisingly, Lewis Hamilton hasn't pulled away as we expected him to do. So on the option tyres. So yeah, we have made the move up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, and we are now in the lead.
Okay, Freddie, try and reduce the contact when overtaking cars. We've been issued a warning by the stewards.
So we've been issued a warning by the stewards for the contact. I suppose that's kind of fair, to be honest, because Freddie has made quite a bit of contact in this race. I suppose it's just his driving style, really. He can be quite aggressive at times, as we have skipped all the way to lap 15, and now the prime tyres are beginning to go off, and Hamilton has picked up the pace. I'm really quite surprised, actually, that Lewis Hamilton hasn't overtaken us before this point. But I believe Lewis Hamilton will be pitting in this lap, and we're going to be pitting on lap 18, so we've got to go 3 more laps. And I believe Alonso and Rosberg are actually doing the same strategy as myself as well. And actually looking behind her, Alonso's just made a fabulous move there on Nico Rosberg. I'm not sure if you saw that, but I think Alonso actually made a move on Rosberg around the outside of the last corner there. So a beautiful move there from our teammate Fernando Alonso. Now onto lap 18. Now this is the lap we're due into the pits, and I think Alonso and Rosberg, they're getting held up by some back markers. In fact, Freddie's gotten off the track here somehow. I'm not really too sure what happened there, whether the curb kind of launched him off the track. A very hairy moment there once again, and that is another sign that we do need to pit in this lap for a set of option tyres. So yeah, unfortunately we have suffered with tyre wear quite a bit in these stints. You can see our tyres are absolutely covered now with grass as we do select the option tyres for our next stop.
Right, I think it's best if we pit this lap for a set of option tyres.
So yeah, the team do agree with us there. Just looking at that replay of that minor incident we just had, I think it is best if we do pit in this lap for a set of option tyres on lap 19. I'm not sure where Lewis Hamilton is, but due to the amount of mistakes we've made in these 3 laps, I think Lewis Hamilton will be easily ahead. And I think that's actually him that's just gone through turn 1 there. You can see going down the first DRS straight now. And who are we going to rejoin behind here? Is that Bottas? Yes, it is Bottas, and also Kevin Magnussen as well. So we've got to overtake these 2 guys before Nico Rosberg catches us up, because I believe Rosberg at the moment is on the prime tyres. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think, looking at my mirrors there, it does look as if Rosberg is on the option tyres. So he'll be a bit faster, so we do need to dispatch of Magnussen and Bottas as quickly as possible. We've got the DRS open now. We're going to shift up into 8th gear, exceeding 200 miles an hour We're going to go down the inside of Kevin Magnussen here. Very late braking manoeuvre there. And we are through. And I believe Rosberg has actually taken the position as well. Looking in our mirrors there. Yep, Rosberg is also through, unfortunately. So Magnussen couldn't hold up. I think he was just really scared at the sight of Freddie going down his inside from that far back. I don't think Magnussen was expected. Sort of caught unaware there. And that's why he also let Rosberg through as well. Just wasn't expecting Freddie to make a move from that far back. But skipping later onto the lap now, I believe Rosberg and Alonso will be pitting as we've crashed into the back of Bottas. What happened there? So Bottas slowed down all of a sudden because he was pitting and Freddie just couldn't react to that. And because of the realistic damage mod, he has lost his front wing and that has pretty much lost us any chance of winning this German Grand Prix. Well, that certainly escalated pretty quickly there. A 6.2 second stop. I really don't know what happened there. That was just really strange. Bottas just suddenly slowed down and Freddie couldn't avoid him.
Unlucky there, mate, but the race isn't over, so carry on pushing.
Indeed, words of motivation there from our engineer. The race is far from over yet. We still got 14 laps which should make up some positions. We are, however, outside the points in between Bottas and now Maldonado. As we can see back there, a bit of front wing has actually come off, so that's quite interesting. As we've gotten involved in quite a big battle. I believe this is Kevin Magnussen, or is it Jensen Button? I'm not 100% sure. It's one of the McLarens, I believe, holding up a train, and we've got the two Williams cars also ahead of us. We're going to go inside of Bottas and Massa here, and it seems that Bottas actually crashed there into the back of his teammate. So unfortunately there for both of the Williams cars, so Bottas crashed into the back of Massa. I don't think that actually damaged Massa's car in any way, shape or form, but really unfortunate as we did get held up by Button. But now onto lap 24, we have already caught up with the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. One retirement in this Grand Prix. I believe that is the German of Sebastian Vettel. Really unfortunate to retire in his home Grand Prix. And Ricciardo actually sort of moves to the left and moves to the right all of a sudden, so Freddie had to move quite vigorously there.
Beautiful move there, Freddie. Next car is Magnussen.
So indeed, the next car is Kevin Magnussen, and that's probably the best we can really hope for today. But Magnussen did qualify in 12th position, so he has had a really amazing race so far. No idea how he has made up quite a few positions, but however, he is quite a way up the road, as we are going to now pit in for our final pit stop of the day for another set of option tyres in the hope of trying to catch up the McLaren of Kevin Magnussen. I believe is about 10 seconds up the road, I'd like to say. Maybe a bit of a smaller back, maybe a bit of a large gap. I'm not 100% sure, but putting on the option tyres now for the final time. You can see there our championship rival Lewis Hamilton is in the lead of this Grand Prix, so that's quite unfortunate. Let's hope that Nico Rosberg could do something about that in these last 6 laps here at Germany in Hockenheim. But anyway, guys, let's go and catch up with Kevin Magnussen for 4th position. Hang on, is that Kevin Magnussen? He's gone off the track. Kevin Magnussen has bottled it at the hairpin here in the stadium section. We're up into 4th position. So lucky there. Kevin Magnussen completely just running off the track, just outbroke himself. I don't know if he had a brake failure or something, but Kevin Magnussen clearly just ran straight off the track and we're going to come through to end the Grand Prix in 4th position.
That's a great recovery drive, Freddie. Well done.
So that was indeed a great recovery drive from Freddie Gray. 4th position, just behind his teammate Fernando Alonso in the end. That was a crazy Grand Prix. What a crazy ending there. A bit of a sudden ending. I apologise for that, but I don't want this video to be too long. Obviously, this is going to be a double header with the next race in Hungary not too long away. But having a look at the final race result, Lewis Hamilton won the Grand Prix, followed by his German teammate Nico Rosberg. But on the championship standings, we are now 40 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Once again, we have maintained 2nd position ahead of Red Bull, but we need to try and close that gap once again as we head into Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So here we go then for the Hungarian Grand Prix here at the Budapest circuit. The Hungaroring is what it is known as, or Magyar Nagadij, as lots of F1 YouTubers like to call it. But yeah, stepping into our car now, Freddie obviously looking to get a much better result this time than what he got in Germany. Obviously slightly unfortunate with the incident with Bottas towards the end of the Grand Prix. Kind of ruined his race, but he did have quite a good recovery drive, going from 11th to 4th position. Obviously quite lucky with Kevin Magnussen making a mistake at the end of the Grand Prix. But anyway, before we can see how Freddie does in the race, let's get into qualifying. So without further ado, let's get into the qualifying report. Just like Germany, there were no real surprises in qualifying, as both Adrian Sutil and Pastor Maldonado were eliminated. In Q2, there was a tense battle for 10th, but Bottas edged ahead of Kevin Magnussen in the dying seconds to secure his place in Q3. Q3 wasn't easy for Freddie Gray, as he could only manage 8th after a moment of oversteer. Nico Hülkenberg surprised most by pushing his Force India car to 6th on the grid.
Still, you know, we were ready when it counted, and we delivered under the pressure, and team did a good job.
Fernando Alonso was the best of the rest in 3rd, but the day belonged to Nico Rosberg as he beat teammate Hamilton by 7/1000ths of a second. With the tyre wear set to play a huge part in this race, it's going to be a question of who can manage their tyres best. Anyway, let's get into the race. So really not a great qualifying session for Freddie Gray for Ferrari at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Really this isn't a track Freddie is too fond of, and obviously tyre will be playing a major factor today in the deciding of today's Hungarian Grand Prix as the lights are about to go out, and they've literally just gone out, and we've gotten off to a pretty good start once again, much better than Felipe Massa and Nico Hülkenberg. Interestingly, Nico Rosberg qualified on pole position ahead of his teammate Lewis Hamilton. He looks like he's gotten off to a slow start. It actually appears that Fernando Alonso is actually going to try and go around the outside of Hamilton, but it seems as if Hamilton has actually maintained that position. And look, we're already up into 5th position. A fantastic start once again from Freddie, really getting a good launch off the line. This Ferrari is an absolute beast at starts. As you can see there, Fernando Alonso just ahead of us. We've actually lost a bit of our front wing. So we've hit the back of Alonso's rear tyre, so the two Ferrari cars have come together, and will that damage be enough to make us pit at the end of this lap? It's quite a bit of a chunk that's been taken off our front wing there. As you can see, the front wing cam replay, we just hit Alonso's rear tyre. Lucky I didn't give him a puncture or anything, but it does seem as if we're beginning to struggle with understeer.
So we've assessed the damage to the front wing, and I think it's best if you box this lap.
So the team are calling us into the pits. That has already ruined our race before it's even started, to be honest. So essentially we will still be on the same strategy as before. So excluding this pit stop, we will be doing a 2-stop from now, pitting on about lap 14 and another pit stop on about lap 24. So it will be a 3-stop race for us today. So essentially 20th position is our effective position right now, and it will be tough actually to even do another 2 stops as the tyre wear is really high around this track. And it is very punishing, especially towards the end of the stint. Your tyres can literally go off the clip within an instant, really. As you can see, Freddie now driving around lap 3, gradually catching up with Max Chilton and Marcus Ericsson. But look at that! There's been a huge crash there between Max Chilton and the Caterham of Marcus Ericsson. Just looking at it here in slow motion, we can see Max Chilton there obviously having a collision with Marcus Ericsson. So the two back marker cars colliding with each other, obviously having a bit of a battle, which is obviously always good to see, but it's just unfortunate it's ended with a crash. You can see just another replay here. Quite shocked actually, something I've never really seen before. 2 cars crashed, and Freddie was very lucky there to actually not crash into the 2 cars into the wreckage there. So he was very lucky. It's now up into 18th, and the safety car has indeed been deployed. So we can skip now to the end of lap 7. The safety car came in about a lap ago. Decided not to show you all that because it wasn't really that interesting. Nothing too much happened. We are now on the back of Danny Kvyat. I mean, he has DRS for some reason, but we don't, even though we were clearly within a second before the pit straight. As you can see, we're going to go round the outside of Danny Kvyat here as he parks his car on the apex a bit too much there and doesn't get as good traction as we do out of the corner. We're going to overtake Kvyat up the inside here of turn 3 or turn 2, I believe. And yep, that is a beautiful move there, up into P17. Now we have the 2 Saubers and the Marussia of Jules Bianchi, who is holding up this train here. So now we need to try and get past these guys quickly if we want to have any chance really of even scoring points today. Because being held up in this train could cost us quite dear, as it is very difficult to overtake around Hungary on this game. So that's why losing that front wing part on lap 1 and having to pit was such a disaster, because it really would involve having to overtake cars, and around this track really the only place to overtake on the pit straight, and obviously this straight coming up, and we have actually overtaken Gutierrez once again. In fact, it looks as if Gutierrez actually lost position to Sutil and Kvyat, so really not working out too well there for Sutil, as we are now on lap 9. So we do need to pass Jules Bianchi, as we do need to skip now to the middle of lap 9, approaching the chicane here. We're going to go up the inside of Jules Bianchi, and it does seem as if he got a bit scared there and actually sort of backed off, but now we are going to put a wheel on the grass there. We're going to try and go around the outside of Bianchi, just about avoiding contact there. A beautiful move there from Freddie around the outside, just having to turn away at the last minute there to avoid contact so close to Bianchi's front tyres there. And now into the pits on lap 11 for another pit stop. I believe this will be a prime tyre stint. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have to wait and see. But we're so far behind at the moment. Points are really looking unlikely teams have already rejoined the track before we even enter the pits, and there is Danny Kvyat in the Taurus who we were battling with earlier on the GP. But look at that, we're now P17 out of 20 cars, and that really just shows how well this race has gone so far. Once the safety car was deployed, I thought Freddie's race could have been possibly saved, but it just doesn't seem to have been the case so far on lap 12. And as you can see now, skimming on to lap 31, now you might be quite confused as to why this is. Basically, let me explain. I made a very stupid mistake. I didn't record from lap 12 to lap 31. Yeah, very bad mistake of me there, but basically what happened is that we made quite a few positions. We are actually up into the points, and we are at 15.8 seconds ahead of Grosjean.
Okay, it looks as if we're going to finish here, so put it into engine setting 4 and we'll collect a bit of data for Spa and Monza.
So we have made quite a bit of progress, so we have overtaken 7 cars since you were last with us. I do really apologise for this, it's such a stupid mistake, and I do promise that it won't happen again, but luckily this was one of our worst Grand Prix. We do cross the line now to finish in 10th position for a single point today.
Not the best result today, Freddie, but let's go into the summer break, forget about all this and come back strong.
So yeah, that is exactly what Freddie will be doing. He'll be having a nice break over the summer. I'm sure you'll be seeing what he got up to on his summer vacation at the beginning of the next episode at Spa. But as you can see, there's Lewis Hamilton finishing second, only half a second behind Nico Rosberg again. So yet again, he's gained positions on us in the championship. So a real shame they're only scoring a single point. They're really disappointing. Once again, I do apologise for not recording those laps that I missed out, obviously, but we did make quite good progress, and in the end, we did finish in the points, only 12 seconds ahead of Romain Grosjean because our tyres went off towards the end, and also we were quite lucky because Hulkenberg and Massa did retire towards the middle of the GP, but now we are 57 points behind Lewis Hamilton, over 2 race victories going into the summer break, but I'm sure Freddie will come back stronger than ever once we get to Spa, which is always an epic Grand Prix, so I'm sure you guys will be really looking forward to that one. So second place in the Constructors' Championship as well, ahead of Red Bull. But anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, today's double header, be sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to give a comment as well, your thoughts in regards to both of the Grand Prix, a crazy race in Germany, and also a pretty crazy race in Hungary as well. Good recovery drives in both of them, I've got to admit. But anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.